Station, this is JSC PAO. How do you hear me?
Yeah, we have you loud and clear.
All right, we'll go ahead and get it started off then.
Good morning. This is Mark Carreau for Aviation Week. I have a question for Scott and Kjell. Could you give us an example of what you think the highest and best use of the space station is to enable future human deep space exploration? Thank you very much.
You know, we do a lot of experiments up here, but I think the most important experiment is the space station as an orbiting vehicle that keeps humans alive in space for long periods of time. We have a very sophisticated life support system here, very sophisticated electrical system, and we work with the ground and their ability to maintain this environment using a certain level of discipline and procedures and operations. That is, all of that is something we're going to need to explore space, deeper into space for longer periods of time. So I think that's the best utilization. And there's other benefits, many other benefits from the space station as well. But as far as, long-term exploration goals, that's the most important aspect of it for me.
And I absolutely agree with Scott. I think the space station really is a bridge. It's a test bed for the technologies that we need to develop and understand in order to have a successful trip to Mars. Of course, this is an international laboratory. It's a place where we're conducting science and experiments. Over the time that Kimiya, Oleg, and I are up here, we'll see 240 experiments, and I think Scott and Misha, during their 1 year in space, will see over 400 experiments. And a lot of those are critical, again, to our understanding of how human physiology adapts to this microgravity environment and the things that we need to do to protect human health for a long trip to Mars with respect to muscle, bone, immune system health, and radiation health as well.
Hi, happy anniversary. It's Clayton Sandell at ABC News. I was curious, on Earth, a car that's 15 years old shows its age in many ways, and I'm curious about maintenance on the station. How is the station holding up? Are you doing more maintenance as part of your day than you would like? And then second, being the crystal anniversary, have you given each other any gifts?
Well, the last time I was here was about 4 or 5 years ago, and it doesn't seem to me like I'm doing any more maintenance on the space station than we did then. So, and that was basically a third of the lifetime ago for human occupation of the space station. I thought when I got on board this time, the material condition of the space station was very good. But, obviously as things age, over time we're going to have more maintenance requirements. But, the good news is we plan for that. We have a lot of spares on board, spare parts outside. We have, plans for changing those things and, keeping this space station flying a long time into the future. And as far as gifts, no, we haven't done that yet. But it is a very important anniversary for this incredible facility, nonetheless.
Hi, Robert Perlman with CollectSpace.com. A couple days ago, I had a chance to talk to Expedition 1 Commander Bill Shepard and asked him what he would ask you. And so he suggested, what have we learned from the space station that will be carried forward to change the way that we do space exploration forevermore? What will be the lesson or lessons that we've learned the past 15 years that has changed the way we do spaceflight?
Well, like I was saying to Mark Carreau, I think one of the important things about this space station is it's a long-term presence in space that is, requires life support systems, electrical systems. But we've learned a lot from this, space station that is very, very important to our future exploration beyond our, our local environment here beyond low Earth orbit.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the JSC portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from KSC.
Station, this is KSC PAO. How do you hear me?
We have you loud and clear now with no giant echo.
Hello, this is Marcia Dunn of the Associated Press. Scott, for you and perhaps someone else. What I remember about 15 years ago today is Bill Shepard and Krikalev and Gudzenko choosing the name Alpha as the call sign, and it didn't stick. I mean, do you wish it had? Do you wish there was a name for this 15-year-old human occupancy up there that could perhaps get more people to have brand or name recognition?
Yeah, I was around then, been around a long time, when that was going on. I kind of felt like the space station should have a name, but there was never anything we could agree on between all the international partners as I remember it. Now, it's the space station to me, and I think it's a great name. And I think, the name International Space Station really represents what it is. So in some ways, maybe it's a better name than something like, I think, Alpha is what you mentioned and what we've thought about calling it back then that didn't stick.
Hi, Bill Harwood, CBS News. I just want to follow up a little bit on what you just said, Scott, a few minutes ago to Mark Carreau. I'm trying to understand how to view the value of the station in terms of, it was ostensibly built for science, obviously, but just building it was a huge achievement internationally. How do you assess the relative ranks of, the reasons that went into the station? Which one is it exploration now that you see as the most important justification, or is it some combination of all of those things that justifies this enormous complex?
For me personally, I think it's hard to say one is more important than the other. We do a lot of science here. While I'm here, there are going to be 400 different science experiments. So it's clearly an orbiting laboratory, a world-class orbiting laboratory at that. There's the exploration goals and the things we need to understand living in low Earth orbit that will enhance our capability to explore further out into the solar system. And then there's the international aspect. And, that is very important. That kind of what, has really held this partnership together, I think, through some very trying times post-Columbia and, with, budget challenges and things like that. I think the international partnership is kind of the glue that binds this program together. So I think for me personally, it's just hard to weigh one over the other. I think they're all very important, and it's, I think we're very lucky to have this space station and this program and to be able to learn the things we're learning from it.
Good morning, James Dean with Florida Today. Captain Kelly, looking ahead 15 years perhaps, do you envision one or more commercial stations continuing the work that ISS is doing? Or do you think sustaining commercial stations the way you have this one might prove more difficult than some people might expect?
To build a commercial space station like this space station, and the cost involved will, obviously, it's going to be really expensive. But, and I wouldn't say it's not possible, but, if someone wanted to build something like this and had the money and, had the reason behind it, I think NASA and our international partners have proved that it's very doable and to keep it flying for long periods of time. What I would envision that's, probably the more likely case is a smaller space station, maybe more focused on, certain more focused goals. and it's something that I would really, love to see someday. It's be fantastic to have researchers, maybe of all different flavors and many different people be able to go to the space station and do their research, and also for people to go there just to experience the majesty of space and looking out at the Earth and the privilege we have up here to do that.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the NASA portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from Moscow PAO.
Руководство в Москву ВОЗ-2, как слышно?
Слышим вас хорошо, как нас.
Loud and clear. What about us?
We can hear you fine. Thank you.
Слышим тоже хорошо, спасибо.
Уважаемые друзья, мы рады вас.
Dear friends, we are glad to greet you from Moscow. Here is Igor Budenkov and other colleagues that are present here to celebrate this great date, the 15th anniversary of piloted crews arriving to the ISS, the International Space Station. Of course, these days are not very happy in Russia. You probably know about it, but still life goes on. And the fact that you demonstrate your successes in space strengthens our spirit and our faith in that everything can be overcome and great results can be achieved. Thank you for this. And we will pass on to our questions. The first question is from the Roscosmos television studio. Please go ahead. Hello, this is Sasha. Congratulations on the 15th anniversary. For many people, 15 years may seem like a great time frame, but you are still there, and you keep up the work around the station. And we'd like to ask you what projects on keeping the station up to date are maintained so that the station stays in service for many years ahead. Thank you. We have quite a lot of experiments, scientific experiments, and other programs and experiments and projects whose objective is to study and to maintain the resources of the station. For instance, we performed similar work on continuing the life resource of the thermal system. We have special sensors in the different modules of the station, say the SREDA environment program that studies all the microaccelerations that impact the structure of the station. That is to say that the specialists on the ground use all the means they have at their disposal to study the current condition of the space station and to see how this condition can be maintained for the future and to prolong this resource and its further use. Thank you very much. Our next question is from the Chinese television company. Please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Congratulations from China Central Television, CCTV.
Всем добрый день. Поздравления от китайского телевидения.
Thank you. Позвольте все-таки продолжить по-русски, потому что мы находимся в России.
And I'd like to continue in Russian because we are in Russia. And the questions that I have are to everybody who will be willing to answer. What do you see on the planet Earth from space? Can you see the Great Chinese Wall? China can be seen very well, especially China at night. And when weather is fine, we can always recognize this country. Unfortunately, the Great Wall of China was not seen by us, but we could very well see great Chinese roads. Good evening, and this is Korolev TV. Good evening. My name is Evgenia Dudnikova. This is Korolev Television. Mikhail Borisovich is a question for you. And we'd like to go back slightly to your spacewalk that you had accomplished with Gennady Padalka. What exactly could you compare it to? What a human is experiencing when in outer space, because the majority of us will not experience it themselves. And what would you say about the suit and the tools that you used when in space? Thank you. This is not the first spacewalk for me. This is number 2. Of course, it's not that many as compared to other cosmonauts. And of course, I was a bit calmer the second time. I didn't have that many emotions as during my first spacewalk. But what I can compare it to, I can probably compare it to a parachute jump when you are approaching the hatch and just one step is left to go down into the abyss. So this is just a comparison, and I'm sorry for it. It does remind me of a parachute jump. But later on, well, you can't really fall down, keep falling down for 5 or 7 hours that it takes to perform a spacewalk. So the emotions go into the background and you are focused on the work that has to be done perfectly. Now I'm being prompted. As for the space suit, I would say it's great, excellent. We do not only use Russian tools, we also use our partners' tools. And I would say that all of the tools for the spacewalk are excellent. 5x5, very comfortable, very easy to use, great. Thank you very much. This is Dimas Strugovets, TASS agency. Hello. Would like to congratulate you further on, but there is one more holiday in 2 days' time. This will be the day of the unity of the peoples. Are you going to celebrate it? Is it going to be a holiday for you? And are you going to invite your colleagues from other countries to celebrate?
Да, на российской части Международной космической станции.
Yes, the Russian part of the ISS will have a holiday. Our colleagues will be working, but we'll probably gather together in the evening. It's still a holiday, nevertheless. And I'd like to congratulate you on this approaching holiday, the Day of the People's Unity. Thank you very much. Congratulations to you too. I would like to tell you that we've had an interesting event today. We had a straight link to the Vostochny Cosmodrome. We discussed what was being done there, because later on we're going to use Vostochny to launch piloted vehicles, and we hope that the machines there are not going to let us down. And I'm going to pass the mic to Katya from the RIA agency. Hello, this is Ekaterina from the RIA Novosti. First of all, congratulations on the 15th anniversary of the ISS. And thank you to Mikhail Borisovich for the interview. It's a great interview. Thanks a lot. A question for you. There's been a news item. This is probably a question for Oleg, Kononenko. There is a piece of information that your crew are going to land 11 days earlier. Is this true? Is this true that you're going to spend slightly less time in space? Thanks.
Но у нас есть радиограмма от руководителя.
We have a radiogram from Vladimir Alexeyevich, who is the lead flight director, with the dates of the subsequent cargo vehicles and our landing. I can't really say anything. Once it's approved, we'll see what it has. But we'll probably have to go down a bit earlier. But what we have in the program, we'll follow it. We'll get ready.
Так, продолжаем. У нас опять, значит, есть новый вопрос.
Let's continue. We have one more question from the Chinese television. Please go ahead. Hello, colleagues. Could you send some New Year greetings for the Chinese people? And a question for the cosmonauts. Did you want to be cosmonauts when kids? Or was there something else later in life that prompted you to follow down this path? Thank you.
Мы с удовольствием поздравим весь китайский народ с Новым годом.
We would be happy to greet all the Chinese people with the New Year when time comes. As for our decision to become cosmonauts, I believe this decision was made a long time ago. We talked about this. And this was something like a dream that all of us had when children, when kids. This topic has been raised multiple times. I wouldn't say that our path was easy and fast. It took us a long time to arrive to fly for the first time, but right now we're here, part of the international crew, and this is probably the achievement of our profession. Thank you. A culminating question, again, Cosmos TV. Sasha, this is for you. There is, again, a piece of information that the head of the NASA Space Agency, Charles Bolden, suggested putting forward the ISS as a project, not as a human entity, for the Nobel Prize of Peace. Do you agree with it? Do you think this definitely unifies the people?
Неожиданный, конечно, вопрос.
This is somewhat of an unexpected question. I think he's right, 100% right. Of course, a lot is being said about the fact that the ISS is a perfect example of international cooperation, of unification of efforts of different people, a unity of unification of technologies, science, and whatnot. But the main achievement, in my opinion, is that people on the ground sometimes fail to hear each other, to see each other. Here in space, this is impossible. Everyone is important here, and the success of the program, and sometimes even life, depends on what each and every one of us does. So this is a perfect example, a very bright example of how cooperation can be achieved. So I think we will support this initiative.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the Mission Control Moscow portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from JAXA PAO.
Station, this is JAXA PAO. How do you hear me?
Loud and clear. How me? I read you loud and clear.
We are ready to speak with you. Yuiさん、友人滞在15周年という節目の時に ISS に滞在している。
This is the long stay 15th anniversary of a permanent human occupancy on ISS. So we would like to hear from you, Kimiya, about your impression, and then I'd like to hand over to reporters.
ありがとうございます。ですね、ISS の友人15周年ということですね。
Okay. So thank you to all of you for gathering at the midnight. So this is the 15th anniversary, and it's been 15 years since human occupancy on ISS. And I'm really happy I am here and honored to be here at such a timing. And what is great about ISS is that a lot of things are happening on Earth. But every country has its culture and technology, and the countries respect each other, and that's happening on ISS, and that's really wonderful. 2 days ago, now it marks 100 days since I came to space, and on November 1st, actually the total number of stay for Japanese astronauts came to 1,000 days, and that's really wonderful. Japan is challenging, and with its capabilities, we are respected by other countries on ISS, and we are really a great partner, and everybody respects us as being a great partner. That's a wonderful thing. So on Kibo experimental module, we are doing like a high quality protein and also small satellite release. So we are doing various experiences, and I hope that we can show great results, and that it turns out as Japan being a great partner. So I will also keep on challenging, and I hope to hand down the results to Mr. Onishi, who will be successful. So congratulations. So this is Higuchi from TBS. And so after 15 years, what is the role that Japan should play on ISS? And what about your rest of the stay, 2 months to come?
そうですね。やっぱり日本というのは結構ですね、希望の先ほど言いましたけれども、非常にユニークな非常に高い能力を持っている分野がありますので、そういうところでやっぱりどこでですね、国際
As I said,
宇宙ステーションに貢献できる
Japan has very high capabilities in some areas.
と思って参加していけるというところが強いいいところじゃないかなと思います。
So how Japan can make contribution to the International Space Station, we have to always address this question, and we always have to cherish the spirit and of value, consideration to others. Now I'm working with Russians and the Americans, and I always like to serve as a bridge and improve the teamwork. And so by playing such roles, I would like to do my best in the rest of my stay, and I would like to make people feel that it was really good to have the Japanese people on the International Space Station. Do you think that there is a very unique culture being fostered over the past 15 years on the International Space Station? Well, yes, I think that a unique culture is being created on the International Space Station. What is great about the ISS is that, well, although the astronauts are from the different backgrounds, from different countries, but we respect with each other in working and collaboration. If such a unique culture is practiced on the Earth will be a much better place. The third question, on the 15th anniversary, what kind of celebration are you going to have up there?
15年で、これからですね、やっぱりみんなで食事をしたりとか、するとは思うんですけれども、そこでやっぱりこれからの、これまでの歴史であるとかですね。
So this is the 15th anniversary, so we are going to have a meal together.
ことをですね、食事をしながら話すことになると。
And we'd like to look back upon the history over the past 15 years from our predecessors, and also like to talk about the future while eating together.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event. Thank you.
Thank you to all participants. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.